My wedding was supposed to start at 4 o'clock. At 3:57. Every guest was already seated. The violinists were playing. My father kept checking his watch. My mother was trying not to cry. And I stood in my bridal suite, staring at a message that changed my entire life. I'm sorry. I can't do this. Emma needs me. Emma. His assistant. The woman he promised me 100 times was just an employee. At first, I thought it was a joke. Then another message appeared. Please don't come looking for me. 3 minutes later, the groom disappeared. The wedding never happened. I thought that would be the most humiliating day of my life. I was wrong. Because 6 months later, the man who quietly watched me cry through the entire disaster got down on one knee. And he wasn't just any man. He was the billionaire everyone in the city knew. The one who had loved me long before my fiancé ever did. My name is Olivia. I'm 32 now. Looking back, I realize my biggest mistake wasn't loving the wrong man. It was ignoring every warning sign because I believed love meant being patient. I met Ryan when we were 26. He was ambitious, funny, confident. He made every room brighter. Or so I thought. The first year felt magical. Weekend trips. Late-night drives. Future plans. We talked about children. A house. Growing old together. When he proposed, I didn't hesitate. I truly believed I'd found my forever. But slowly, things changed. Ryan became obsessed with work. His company had started growing, and suddenly everything revolved around meetings. Deadlines. Business dinners. Late-night phone calls. Then came Emma, his new executive assistant. At first, she seemed harmless. Young. Smart. Professional. Ryan mentioned her constantly. Emma organized everything. Emma stayed late. Emma saved today's presentation. Eventually, he mentioned her more than he mentioned me. Whenever I brought it up, he laughed. You're jealous of my assistant? I have to work with her. You have nothing to worry about. I wanted to believe him. So I ignored my instincts. Big mistake. About 3 months before the wedding, things became strange. Ryan stopped letting me touch his phone. Business trips doubled. Weekend meetings suddenly became normal. One evening, I arrived at his office with dinner. The receptionist smiled awkwardly. Oh. Ryan already left. That surprised me. He'd texted 10 minutes earlier saying he was still working. As I walked back toward my car, I saw them. Ryan and Emma laughing outside a restaurant. Not inside the office. Not discussing business. Just laughing. She touched his arm. He smiled the way he used to smile at me. When I confronted him later, he became angry. You're spying on me now? It was dinner after work. Grow up. So, I apologized. I apologized for catching my fiancé on what looked exactly like a date. That's what emotional manipulation does. It convinces you that your own eyes are lying. Despite everything, the wedding planning continued. My parents spent nearly $60,000. My grandmother flew in from Italy. Relatives traveled across 3 states. Every invitation had been mailed. Every flower ordered. Every table decorated. The venue overlooked the lake. It was beautiful. I should have been excited. Instead, I couldn't sleep. Something inside me kept whispering, "Don't do this." But I ignored it. The wedding morning arrived. Hair. Makeup. Photos. Everything felt surreal. Ryan barely texted me. His last message simply said, "Busy with the guys." Nothing unusual. Until 3 minutes before the ceremony. That's when his message arrived. "I'm sorry. I can't marry you. Emma needs me." At first, I couldn't breathe. I thought he'd had an accident. Then another message. "Please don't make this harder." That's when reality hit. He hadn't been kidnapped. He hadn't been hurt. He had chosen another woman. On our wedding day, the guests eventually found out. Someone whispered. Someone cried. People started leaving. My father looked ready to collapse. My mother hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. News travels fast. By sunset, everyone knew. I became the bride who got left at the altar. 4 weeks. I refused to leave my apartment. I ignored calls. Deleted social media. Stopped answering friends. I couldn't even look at my wedding dress. It remained hanging in my closet. Like proof that dreams really can die. There was only one person who kept showing up. Without asking questions. Without giving advice. Without telling me to move on. His name was Daniel. I had known him for years. He was one of my father's closest business clients. Quiet. Kind. Respectful. Unlike Ryan, Daniel never tried to impress anyone. He simply listened. Sometimes, he'd leave coffee outside my apartment. Other times, he'd drop off groceries. He never stayed long. Never crossed boundaries. He simply reminded me I wasn't alone. One afternoon, about 4 months later, he invited me to lunch. Nothing fancy. Just a small cafe overlooking the river. Halfway through our meal, he looked nervous. For the first time since I'd met him, the confident businessman disappeared. Instead, I saw a man afraid of hearing no. He smiled softly. "I've wanted to tell you something for years." I laughed. "That sounds dangerous." "It probably is." He took a deep breath. "I loved you long before Ryan proposed." I froze. "I knew you were happy. So I stayed away. I respected your relationship. I never wanted to become the reason it ended." His honesty left me speechless. He wasn't trying to rescue me. He wasn't insulting Ryan. He wasn't promising fairy tales. He simply told the truth. Then he added something I'll never forget. "If your answer is no, I'll still be grateful I got to tell you." Weeks passed. We kept seeing each other. Slowly. Carefully. No pressure. No games. No pretending. For the first time, I realized how peaceful love could feel. No wondering where he was. No checking his phone. No doubting myself. Just trust. One evening, Daniel invited me to a charity gala. That's when everything became even more surreal. I finally understood who he really was. People lined up to greet him. CEOs. Politicians. Athletes. Investors. Everyone knew his name. Daniel wasn't just wealthy. He owned multiple technology companies. Commercial real estate. Investment firms. His estimated net worth exceeded $2 billion. I stared at him. "You never told me." He smiled. "You never asked." A year after my cancelled wedding, Daniel proposed. Not in front of cameras. Not during some extravagant event. We were sitting on the same park bench where we'd first admitted our feelings. He handed me a simple velvet box. I don't want to replace your worst memory. I want to give you a better one. Of course. I said yes. Our wedding couldn't have been more different. Small. Private. Only family and close friends. No massive guest list. No pretending. Just happiness. As I walked down the aisle, I wasn't wondering whether the groom would show up. He was already standing there. Smiling. Waiting. Exactly where he promised he'd be. About 2 years later, life surprised me again. I attended an industry conference with Daniel. Guess who was working there? Ryan. His company had collapsed after several failed investments. He looked older. Tired. He approached us carefully. I owe you an apology. Daniel quietly stepped away, giving us privacy. Ryan looked down. I thought success meant chasing the next exciting thing. I lost everything that mattered. I nodded. I forgave you a long time ago. He looked relieved. Then he noticed Daniel waiting nearby. Is he? I smiled. My husband. Ryan slowly nodded. I heard he's one of the richest entrepreneurs in the country. He is. But that's not why I married him. Ryan looked genuinely curious. Then why? I answered honestly. Because he never made me question whether I was enough. Ryan lowered his head. There was nothing left to say. People often assume this story is about revenge. It's not. Ryan leaving me at the altar wasn't the best thing that ever happened because I married a billionaire. It was the best thing because it forced me to stop chasing someone who had already stopped choosing me. Money didn't heal my heart. Love did. Respect did. Consistency did. The right person won't leave you waiting at the altar while chasing someone else. They'll be standing exactly where they promised. Waiting for you. And sometimes, the greatest love story begins the exact moment your first one falls apart.